Since 1994, Minnesota has had a moratorium on the construction of new nuclear power plants. While the state's two existing plants are allowed to continue generating electricity, the moratorium prevents new nuclear plants from being built. Even though nuclear power qualifies as one of the energy sources Minnesota utilities can use to transition to 100% carbon-free electricity by 2040, and new nuclear technologies continue to improve and evolve, the moratorium remains in effect. The question is often asked, why is nuclear energy important? Currently, the United States has 93 operating nuclear reactors, located at 56 sites around the country. These plants provide around-the-clock, carbon-free power to homes and businesses. In fact, these 93 plants account for approximately 20% of all electricity generated in the United States each and every year. More important, as we reduce carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions, nuclear energy generates over 50% of all carbon-free energy in the U.S., more than wind, solar, and hydropower combined. In Minnesota, just two nuclear energy facilities produce over 23% of the state's energy and more than 51% of Minnesota's carbon-free electricity. Nuclear power is also the most reliable source of electricity, with an average capacity factor above 92%, meaning electricity produced at a nuclear power plant is nearly always available when needed to keep the lights on. To put this into context, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, carbon-free nuclear energy is nearly twice as reliable as coal and natural gas, and almost 3 times more reliable than wind and solar. So, what are the other benefits of nuclear energy? Nuclear energy supports hundreds of thousands of American jobs and generates billions of dollars in economic activity. Nuclear power plants are among the safest industrial facilities in the world due to highly trained staff, strict regulations, and extensive safety and security systems. And new nuclear technologies, such as small modular reactors or SMRs, take safety a step further with innovative, simplified designs. Numerous independent academic and scientific studies, including those published by the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, have stated that nuclear energy must play a pivotal and growing role to achieve significant carbon reduction. Just last year, at the UN's COP28 Climate Summit, the Biden administration announced that, to meet the nation's climate goals, the U.S. must triple its nuclear generation by 2050. Finally, nuclear energy is one of the densest sources of electricity, requiring very little land to generate massive amounts of clean energy. For comparison, a typical nuclear plant requires less than 1 square mile of land. To generate the same amount of electricity with solar would require 50 to 75 square miles, while wind would require between 260 and 360 square miles. So, why should Minnesota's moratorium be repealed? Recognizing the important role nuclear currently plays, and the critical role it can play in powering the clean energy transition, many states have repealed nuclear energy moratoriums, and many others are incentivizing new nuclear energy technologies. In recent years, numerous states, including Illinois, Wisconsin, Connecticut, Montana, and West Virginia, repealed or modified nuclear moratoriums. Other states, such as Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, Washington, and South Carolina, are providing sources of funding, regulatory certainty, and other incentives to encourage investment in new nuclear projects and technologies. As Minnesota strives to eliminate carbon emissions from the electric sector by 2040, nuclear can be an invaluable tool in achieving this ambitious, worthwhile goal. However, with the moratorium in place, energy providers will not be able to evaluate nuclear energy's potential as a future resource, removing from consideration one of the best tools in our climate change toolbox.